This was ripped off of their website. So they have mine types for SolidWorks. Who does SolidWorks? Dassault Systems, right? This is CATIA. So it's got a mine type for this. It's got a mine type for AutoCAD. Who does that? Autodesk. For Solid Edge, who does that? That's Siemens. Okay, this is Siemens tools to compete with this. It does CATIA, it does Pro Engineer, it does NX, it does Mentor Graphics. What is Mentor Graphics? It's kind of an electrical system. It's a it's kind of a mechanical, electrical for doing printed circuit boards and things like that. And the list kind of goes on and on. But all of these types of files, CAD files, Team Center Engineering is smart enough to know how to kind of launch and open up. Do you have any questions? General kind of introduction, understanding of what PLM is. I think that's the last slide.
This may or may not be entirely related, but would you ever actually use that many different CAD systems in developing something, and how would you put it together into something?
Good question. I don't think you would ever use that unless it was maybe an airplane. So does Boeing have some AutoCAD or Inventor or Solid Edge, SolidWorks files that could? If you were to look at where did this fastener or where did this bushing or where did these small components come from, they probably didn't come out of an NX system or a CATIA system. They probably came out of a smaller system. And so they manage that data, but it's not stuff that they necessarily created. And the thing that's nice about Team Center Engineering is you do not need to have AutoCAD installed to look at an AutoCAD part. What you need to have inside of Team Center Engineering is the ability to look at a file and build its JT representation. So a JT is a standard file format for visualization. And so if they can grab an Inventor part or a SolidWorks part, instead of having SolidWorks loaded locally, they can just grab its JT representation, and that part will appear as though it's a real part showing up in this kind of view. If I were to try and click on that part, it would say you don't have the right application, and besides that, this came from a supplier. Are you sure you want to get into it? If you have to get into it, you're going to have to make sure that you have that actual software working on it.
I was thinking more along the lines of like, wow, you do like half your parts in NX and half of Pro Engineer, and then put them together, and that's just
you actually can through this JT environment. So they do assemblies like that in the JT space. So, and we'll talk about a top-down assembly approach, skeletal assembly approach, that will allow that to happen pretty easily. Another question?
Yeah, I was wondering, the drawings that you do, like for a part, would that fall under the product design, or would that fall under the product production?
So there's two types of drawings that typically are created in industry. There is the part drawing, and then there is the manufacturing technical drawing. And so if the part drawing is a drawing of something that is cast, it won't have draft angles and things like that on it. That part drawing, along with the part itself, will go over to the manufacturing space, and in the manufacturing space, they'll put draft angles and everything else to make it right. They'll tweak the drawings so that it is a cast representation of the part. And so one is saved in the product definition area, the other one is saved in the product production area. So, good question. Any other questions? So the first lab for NX is tomorrow. And then we have class on Thursday, and then lab for CATIA on Friday. So that's the schedule for the week.